So if you like the idea of a modern classic GT, but you've only got a budget in the teens, have you considered one of these? Something with enough space for the kids to fit in the back, an exciting engine under the bonnet, and a desirable badge. Let's get into it. Welcome to Dadcars. Okay, so I really love a classic understated GT car. Now, just looking in pictures at these 3200s, the front end always just looks a little bit too subtle for me. Maybe that's because I'm comparing it to a Gran Turismo front end. But in person, it's definitely better. And you've got these lovely bonnet vents up here as well, and obviously that trident on the front. It's a pretty looking car in person. The lovely thing about the design on this car is that all of this section here, all of it, all across down and back here, is all one piece, which is a lovely piece of design, but a complete nightmare, I imagine, if you have a prang. I absolutely love the rear lights on this car. They absolutely nailed it. Now, this is the first car that actually featured LED rear lights. So we've got Maserati to thank for when a bulb goes. You can't just nip down Halfords and pay £3 for a new one and pop it in. You have to get a whole unit replaced or repaired. I can't believe that Maserati Coupe replaced these iconic rear lights for those boring looking ones. Apparently it might have something to do with the Americans and how they were resistant to the LED rear lights. Now, these cars are actually notably smaller than the Aston Martin DB9. So they are about 6 centimetres more narrow and about 20 centimetres shorter. So knowing how much of a tight squeeze it is in the back of the Aston, I'm going to prepare myself for an even tighter squeeze in the back of this smaller car, yeah? Okay, so let's have a look. So, oh, I don't have to move the seat forward myself manually every single time. Thanks, Maserati. And look at this. Look at the space getting in the back here. I feel like going from the Aston to this, I feel like I'm sat in the back of a Rolls Royce. This is tremendous. Now, I could sit back here, going down to Cornwall for like a 5-hour journey. Oh, feels comfortable, the headspace. This is brilliant. So my good old trusty travel child seats, I mean, they're lost back here. I mean, you could use these obviously, but look, you don't need to use travel child seats in here. Let's try a more conventional one. There we go, look, easy. This is your conventional belt secured front facing child seat. You could get rear facing belt secured baby child seats in here easy as well.
Or you could put a rear facing baby seat here in the front passenger seat, because you have a switch to turn off the passenger airbag, something that my Aston doesn't have. Obviously there's no ISOFIX in this car, but look, considering the external dimensions, I'm blown away with just how much space there is inside. It's a proper 4-seater for 4 adults.
The boot is a really good size. I would say definitely deeper than the Astons.
So this car has a 3.2 litre twin turbocharged V8, which, according to Maserati, who at the time of launch were owned by Ferrari, produced 365 brake horsepower. Now that sounds reasonable when you consider that the Ferrari 360 came out shortly after this car, and that produced 395 brake horsepower. And obviously this was, almost half the price of that. But more on that later when I take it out. Now the weight of this car is about 1,600 kilograms. Compared to my DB9, it's about 160 kilograms lighter. So that's like 2 decent sized adults. It's also a very rare car. They only made less than 5,000 of these cars. And to put that into perspective, they made about 175,000 996 generation 911s. So yeah, less than 5,000, a rare car. As you can see here with these stickers, Ian's been an active member of the Sporty Bears charity, which do ride-alongs and other car events to raise money for children's charities. Sounds fantastic. I'm going to check it out, see if I can get involved. So running costs then. Ian's owned this car for about 9 years, and he tells me he's got a really good sort of private specialist who works on this car. Charges about £300 per service. The cam belt needs to be done every sort of 18,000 miles or 3 to 4 years, and that costs about £600. But Ian told me that, you know, he sets aside about £1,000, £1,500 a year to look after this. Look, it's an Italian performance car, isn't it? It's not going to be cheap, but if you look after it, it shouldn't be too bad.
Anyway, that's enough of all the waffle. Should we take it out for a drive? Sounds good. Now this is a rather special moment for me because this is the first car I've driven on the Dadcars channel, which isn't my car and isn't somebody that I knew before I started this channel. So the very kind owner of this, Ian, he saw my video of the DB9 and then he reached out and said, feel free to come and make a video with my car. So thank you so much, Ian. It means the world to me. And my first time driving a Maserati. This here is the automatic 4-speed automatic. They obviously did the manual as well. And looking on the classifieds, the manuals do seem to be sort of readily available as well. So sitting in here right now, the first thing that stands out to me is just how spacious it feels. This whole dash arrangement feels like it's been pushed right back. So you've got loads of space here. It feels really nice and airy. The complete opposite to my Aston Martin, where the dash feels like it's coming right down and sitting on your lap. And everything in here is wrapped in lovely leather. It feels really nice to touch. And it's got a bit of Italian flair about it. So visibility out of this is really good. The windows are really good size. And I feel like I can see where the front of the bonnet is there. Even though I've only just started driving this, I feel like I can place it quite well. The only problem is I feel like the seat's a bit too high because I'm right up against the roofline here and I'm only 5'11". So for me, I feel like the seating position, if the seat was a little bit lower, that would probably suit my preference. So the steering in this actually feels very alive. You feel very connected, very mechanical. And the throttle response is fantastic. Again, a very nice mechanical feel from that accelerator pedal. So look, I was expecting like a really old GT, you know, from the 90s sort of feel. It's going to feel a bit disappointing compared to my DB9. But I'm very surprised and happy to inform you that this really feels alive, really mechanical. And it feels much more like a sports car than a GT car to me. So now I'm going to pop it in sport, and then let's feel this acceleration. Woo-hoo-hoo! I'll tell you what, it's no slouch. It's no slouch. Now I think I thought that the horsepower figures for this was around 370, but speaking to Ian, they said that Ferrari, who owned Maserati at the time, were downplaying the horsepower of this car. So he's had this on a rolling road and apparently it's come out at about 410. So at new it was probably more around 420. I'll tell you what, you can feel it. Now I think the 0 to 60 time in one of these is about 5.5 seconds or thereabouts, but you know what, that is very fast car. And I always say as well, if you've got a car which is like 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, how much enjoyment do you really get out of it on UK roads, you know? And this is another fine example of that. If I get 5 seconds to enjoy it as opposed to 3, I'm not complaining. That was so fun, I'm going to do it again. Let's give it another go. God. So look, obviously you've got to wait a little while for that boost to come on. But when it comes on, it all comes alive. This engine has got tremendous character, I tell you. That V8 twin turbo,
It really sounds mechanical, and it sounds like it's right here, right in front of you. You know what? I've been having so much fun driving this car, I've completely forgotten that how much you can pick them up for. You can buy these in the teens. If you've got £15,000, Aston Martin, if you've got £15,000, you can get yourself a decent one of these. What else can you buy that is this exciting for £15,000? What? A base model 996 911? Doesn't look as good as this. And I've not driven one, but I bet it's not as fun as this. I bet it doesn't have as much character as this. And look, here's the thing. You drive anything modern that is on paper just infinitely much better than this car, it's not going to feel like this. Like, this smile on my face, that's not fake, okay? I'm enjoying myself here. This is tremendous. So I drove up today an hour in my Aston Martin DB9 to come and see this car. And I was expecting to sort of be like, look, you know, it's an older GT, isn't it? It's from the generation previous. You know, DB7's a fairer comparison and all the rest of it. But I tell you what, I'm having more fun driving this now than I did driving my DB9 up here. Okay, yeah, the steering's probably not as tight and I don't quite feel as planted, sort of like, you know, and locked in and engaged with the chassis. But I'm having more fun. Oh my goodness. It's a very exciting car to drive. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I'm hoping that this is the first of many exciting Dadcar reviews like this. If anyone else out there's got anything exciting that they think could be used with children, it's got some seats in the back, please reach out to me. My email address is in the description. So in summary then, for the Maserati 3200 GT, if I had to pick between spending like £15,000-20,000 on a really nice example of one of these, or spending like £20,000 on a really rough, early, high mileage, not well maintained DB9, I would 100%, after driving this, I would definitely go for this. Because, you know, the DB9 is going to cost you loads of money in maintenance if it's not been looked after. But if you get one of these that has been looked after, and you continue to look after it well yourself, it's a really exciting car to have for not much money, in the teens. Fantastic. So look, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all the rest of it. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.